Ladies and gentlemen, they thought you were blind, didn't they? That their little jabs, their sneaky insults, their casual disregard went unnoticed. But you saw it all, every look, every word, every sly smirk. You counted them like clockwork. Tick, 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 tick. They didn't realize the time was running out. They believed they could keep you under their thumb, that they could break you, bend you, make you small. They thought you would stay silent, that you would stay weak, that the pressure would eventually suffocate you. But they didn't know you, did they? What they failed to understand, what they could never grasp, is that each of those little slights, each of those moments when they thought they had the upper hand, was not just a mark against you. It wasn't just an insult, an attack on your worth. Number every single one of those moments, those little cuts they made, was a drop in the bucket. A small, insignificant thing on its own, but over time, it became a weight, a collection of disrespect, of hatred, of venom. And you kept track, you kept counting. You weren't blind and you weren't weak. You were biding your time, you were patient, you were waiting, because you understood something that they never did, something that was never clear to them in the haze of their arrogance and ignorance. You knew that the greatest strength comes not from power, not from yelling or fighting back, but from silence. It comes from standing tall, holding your ground, and watching as the world around you tries to break you, to diminish you. And you knew that one day they would regret it. They would realize the mistake they made. But by then, it would be too late. You know what it's like, don't you? To walk into a room and feel the weight of eyes on you, the whispers behind your back. You know what it's like to hear the comments, the backhanded compliments, the sarcasm disguised as concern. You've heard it all, you've felt it all, and yet you said nothing. You didn't lash out. You didn't scream or shout or demand they stop. You stood still. You let them think they were winning, and while they reveled in their tiny victories, you were building something far greater. You were building strength. You were building resilience. You were becoming someone they couldn't fathom. Each jab they took at you only made you stronger. Every insult was fuel to the fire inside you, a fire they couldn't see, couldn't understand. They thought they were wearing you down, but all they were doing was pushing you closer to the person you were always meant to be. They thought they were breaking you, but what they didn't know was that you were silently breaking them. Every time they thought they won, they were unknowingly drawing closer to their own downfall. People like that, the ones who thrive on undermining others, they believe that others are like them, weak, fragile, easily shattered. They think they can break you with their words, their looks, their manipulations. But what they don't realize is that not everyone is as weak as they are. Not everyone crumbles when they're pushed. Some people like you only grow stronger in the face of adversity. You weren't just surviving their attacks. You were learning from them. You were adapting. You were evolving. Every insult became a lesson. Every slide a stepping stone on your path to greatness. You learned the art of control. They thought they were in control, that they held the power, that their words could dictate how you felt. But they were wrong. You held the power. You controlled how you responded. You controlled what those words meant to you. You decided whether they would hurt you or make you stronger. You didn't let their disrespect define you. You defined yourself, and that's the difference. While they were busy trying to break you, you were silently working on your own transformation. They didn't understand the power of silence, the power of patience. They didn't understand that while they were throwing stones, you were building walls, strong walls, walls that they could never break down, no matter how hard they tried. They didn't realize that every time they thought they were making progress in tearing you down, they were only reinforcing the structure that was going to hold you up when the storm finally came. And make no mistake, the storm is coming. The storm that they so arrogantly thought would never touch you. The storm that will hit them when they least expect it. The storm that will rise up from the quiet strength you've been nurturing, from the power you've been silently collecting. They thought they were breaking you, but they were only building the force that would one day destroy everything they thought they knew. They think they're clever, don't they? They think they've found the key to breaking you, to bending you to their will. But all they've done is made you more aware, more prepared, more dangerous. They think they can treat you like a doormat and get away with it. But one day, they'll learn that you were never the one who was being walked on. They were the ones who were blind. They couldn't see the fire in your eyes, the grit in your soul, the determination in your heart. They couldn't see that every word they spoke, every sneer they cast your way, was making you more unstoppable. They may never apologize. They may never realize the depth of their wrongs. They may go on with their lives, oblivious to the damage they've done, to the person they've tried to break. But here's the truth that they will never understand. They can't take away your worth. They can't erase your strength, and they can't control the way you rise. You've been counting every disrespect, haven't you? You've been counting every moment they thought they could tear you down. And now, the time is coming. The time when the tables turn. The time when the power shifts. The time when you stand tall, stronger than ever, and they see for the first time the weight of everything they've thrown at you. The time when they realize that you are not the victim, you are the victor. They thought they could break you, didn't they? They thought they could control you, make you doubt yourself, make you question your worth. But here's the truth, they were wrong. All they did was make you stronger. And now, the world will see the power you've been quietly building. They will see the strength that has been growing in silence. They will see the force you have become. The time has come. The time for silence is over. The time for action is now. The time when you take everything they've thrown at you and turn it into your own weapon. The time when you take all their disrespect, all their insults, all their hatred, and use it as fuel to propel you to heights they never imagined. And when that moment comes, when you finally rise, when you finally show them who you've become, they will understand. They will know that they were never dealing with someone they could break. They will know that you were never the one they could control. You were always the one who was in charge of your own destiny, and now it's time to claim that destiny. They didn't know you were silently counting every disrespect against you, did they? Well, now they'll know. They'll know when they see you rise. They'll know when they see you shine. And they'll know that their little jabs, their sneaky insults, their casual disregard were nothing more than the very thing that helped you find your power. And by then, it will be too late for them to stop you. You'll already be too far ahead. In the end, it's never the ones who attack who win. It's the ones who endure, who rise, who come out stronger than ever. And you've already won. So rise, stand tall, and let them see the strength you've built, the power you've collected, and the person they could never defeat. Because you are not the one who was weak. They were the ones who were blind to your strength. And now, you will show them. They believed they had all the power, didn't they? They thought that you would cower under their harsh words, their sneaky manipulations, their subtle and sometimes not so subtle jabs. They couldn't have been more wrong. They thought they could wear you down, piece by piece, bit by bit, until you were nothing. But they didn't realize that every moment of disrespect was only a stitch in a greater tapestry, a greater armor that would protect you when the time came. The audacity of their assumptions, to think that you would just sit back and take it, that you would remain the victim in their twisted game. But you weren't a victim, were you? Number. You were a witness, an observer, a silent participant in a game you didn't choose to play. You watched them, counted their attacks, and learned. You didn't lash out in anger or resentment. You didn't lose yourself in petty arguments or revenge. You just watched, and while they thought they were breaking you down, you were quietly putting the pieces of yourself back together, stronger than before. They thought they were clever, didn't they? They thought that their insults, their small cruelties, would slowly chip away at your confidence, that one day you would break. But every time they tried, every time they took their shots at you, they only fueled your determination. They didn't realize that your silence wasn't weakness. It was strength in its purest form. It was restraint. It was control. It was the foundation of the power you were building inside yourself. The power that they couldn't see. The power that they could never understand. They thought that by belittling you, by undermining you at every turn, they would gain some kind of upper hand, that they would make you question your own worth. But here's the truth they never saw. You never doubted yourself, not once. They wanted you to, but you never gave them the satisfaction. They didn't know you were already counting their disrespect, counting every little thing they thought would bring you down, and turning it into the fuel that would one day push you to greatness. They didn't realize that every time they tried to break you, they were only helping you become unbreakable. They were the ones blind to the fact that you were silently preparing, silently training, silently becoming the version of yourself they would never see coming. The version of yourself that no amount of insults or disrespect could ever touch. The version of yourself that would rise and show them what it truly meant to underestimate someone. The truth is, they thought they were in control. They thought they could dictate how you felt, how you responded, how you viewed yourself. But the reality is, they never had control over you at all. The only person who had control was you. And the reason they couldn't break you is because they never understood the quiet power you held. They never understood that the real strength isn't in the loudest voice or the most obvious actions. The real strength is in the silence, in the restraint, in the decision not to let them win. And that's what they couldn't see. The longer they attacked, the stronger you became. Every word, every glance, every tiny insignificant moment of disrespect was another brick in the wall that protected your soul. They were building you without even realizing it. They were shaping you into something they could never break. They thought they were tearing you down, but they were only sculpting you into something stronger, more powerful, more determined. It's a twisted irony, isn't it? That the more they tried to hurt you, the more they made you who you were always meant to be. You were never going to be the victim in their eyes. You were never going to be the weak one, the one who crumbled under their weight. You were always going to rise, because you understood something they never would. Disrespect is not a sign of your weakness. It is a reflection of their own. It's easy for people to dismiss someone they think they have power over, to treat them with disdain, to try to chip away at their confidence and self-worth. It's easy to take advantage of someone who stays silent, someone who seems passive, someone who doesn't retaliate. But that silence, that was your power. That was your shield. That was your opportunity to learn, to grow, to gather strength in a way they would never understand. You didn't need to fight back. You didn't need to scream or shout or demand attention. All you needed to do was wait. All you needed to do was keep counting, keep building, keep moving forward. And now they will see what happens when you push someone too far. Now they will see what happens when they underestimate someone who is quietly, steadily becoming a force they can't comprehend. You can hear them now, can't you? You can hear their voices, their sneering comments, their hurtful remarks, and it no longer matters. It doesn't matter because you know who you are. You know your worth. You know that their words have no power over you. You've heard them all before. and they don't hurt you anymore. They can't hurt you anymore because you've already taken their worst and turned it into your strength. Now, the time has come. The time has come for you to show them what you've been building. The time has come for you to rise and show them that you were never the one who was weak, that you were never the one they could break. And when you rise, when you show them who you've become, it will be too late for them to do anything about it. They will stand in awe of the person you've become, the force of nature that they never saw coming. They will realize in that moment that everything they did to you was in vain. All their attempts to break you, all their efforts to diminish you, only made you stronger. They didn't realize that they were the architects of their own downfall. They thought they were tearing you apart, but all they did was make you whole. And when that moment comes, when you finally show them who you are, they will understand. They will understand that they were never in control, that they were never the ones who could shape your destiny. They will see for the first time the power that lies within you, and they will know that it was never about them. It was always about you. You were always the one who was in control. You were always the one who was writing your own story. Now, the story is about to take a turn. Now, it's your time. It's your time to rise, to show them, to prove to them that no matter how many times they tried to knock you down, no matter how many times they tried to tear you apart, you are still standing. You are still here. And you are stronger than they ever imagined. They never knew, did they? They never knew that you were silently counting every disrespect against you, turning it into something that would eventually crush them. They never knew that every time they threw their jabs, they were only fueling the fire within you. They never knew that you were waiting for the moment when it would all come together, when you would rise, unstoppable, and show them what they had made. And now, the time has come. The storm is here. And they are going to realize too late that they were never the ones who were in control. It was always you. They thought they had the upper hand. They thought their small insults, their dismissive attitudes, their petty attempts at manipulation would gradually erode your sense of self. But what they didn't understand is that their every attempt at breaking you was only building something more powerful, something more unshakable in you. Every time they threw a jab, they were unknowingly strengthening you, fortifying the walls around you, turning the weight of their words into the foundation of your strength. They wanted you to fight. They wanted you to react. They wanted to see you lose your cool, to see you flail under the pressure of their disrespect. But you didn't give them that satisfaction, did you? Number. You were smarter than that. You knew that the only way to defeat them wasn't with anger, wasn't by stooping to their level. The only way to truly defeat them was by rising above them, by standing firm in your own strength and walking away from the games they played. They expected you to crumble. They expected you to bend, but you didn't. You stood tall, and while they thought they were wearing you down, they were only building the resolve that would one day destroy them. They never saw it coming. They never realized that every cut they made, every word they said, every ounce of disrespect they heaped upon you was only fueling your transformation. What they didn't understand is that the quietest strength is the most powerful one. They could see your silence, but they couldn't see your growth. They could see your stillness, but they couldn't see the storm that was brewing inside you. They couldn't see the fire that was quietly kindling, the energy that was accumulating, the power that was silently building within you. You didn't need to react. You didn't need to prove anything to them. You didn't need to show them that their words could hurt you, because you knew better. You knew that their attempts to break you were never about you. They were about them. It was about their own insecurities, their need to feel superior, their own fear of seeing someone rise above them. They didn't understand that their disrespect wasn't a reflection of who you were. It was a reflection of who they were. Their insults came from a place of weakness, a place of fear, a place where they couldn't fathom someone rising higher than them. But you understood something that they would never get. You understood that no amount of disrespect could touch your soul. No amount of hatred could diminish your worth. They couldn't break you because they never had the power to do so. They could only reveal their own inadequacies, their own inability to see strength in others without feeling threatened by it. And you were their greatest lesson, whether they realized it or not. You were a lesson in resilience, in patience, in the quiet power of enduring hardship without giving into it. But what do we really mean by strength? What does it mean to be strong in the face of disrespect, in the face of cruelty, in the face of the constant attempt to diminish your worth? Strength doesn't come from loud gestures. It doesn't come from seeking revenge or fighting back at every slight. Strength comes from the ability to endure, to remain calm and composed, even when the world is throwing its worst at you. Strength comes from knowing your own worth so deeply that nothing anyone says can shake you. It comes from standing tall, even when everyone else is trying to push you down. And you've mastered that strength. They thought they knew you. They thought they had you figured out, didn't they? They thought they could read your silence as weakness, your stillness as an invitation to strike. But they were wrong. They couldn't see the depths of who you were. They couldn't see the layers of strength and wisdom that lay beneath the surface. They couldn't see the steel in your heart, the fire in your soul. They thought they could crack you open and expose your vulnerabilities, but all they ended up doing was revealing their own. It's funny, isn't it? The way the world works, how those who try so hard to break others end up breaking themselves. You can't defeat someone who's learned how to rise from every fall, how to grow stronger from every defeat. You can't break someone who has mastered the art of resilience. You can't destroy someone who is already whole, who has already learned to stand tall in the face of everything that tries to bring them down. And that's you. You've learned how to stand. You've learned how to endure. And now, you are more powerful than anyone who has ever disrespected you could ever imagine. But there's something deeper to this. Strength isn't just about standing tall. It's about standing tall while remaining humble. It's about knowing that you don't need to prove anything to anyone, that your worth isn't determined by their opinions or their actions. Strength is about choosing peace over chaos, silence over noise, patience over rage. It's about choosing your own path, regardless of the obstacles that others throw in your way. It's about understanding that your journey is yours to make, and that no one else can dictate where you go or how far you'll go. They wanted you to fight. They wanted you to react. They wanted you to engage in their little games, to get tangled in their webs of lies and manipulation. But you didn't. You chose a different path. You chose the path of self-mastery, the path of silence, the path of understanding. You understood that the more you react, the more power you give them. And you weren't going to give them that power. You chose to stay centered, to remain true to yourself, and in doing so, you robbed them of the control they so desperately sought. They never understood the power of your silence. They never understood that every time they tried to hurt you, they were only making you stronger. They thought their words could hurt you, but in reality, their words were just fuel for the fire that was building inside you. Every time they tried to diminish you, they were unknowingly elevating you. Every time they tried to take from you, they were only adding to your strength. They didn't realize it then, but they were helping you build your future. They were helping you build the person you are today, the person who is unstoppable, unshakable, and undeniable. And now, the time has come. The time has come for you to show them who you've become, to show them the power they couldn't break, the strength they could never destroy, They will look at you and wonder how they could have ever underestimated you. They will realize that they were never the ones who had control. They will see that it was always you, quietly building, quietly growing, quietly becoming the force that you are today. When you rise, they will see it. They will see everything they tried to tear down, everything they tried to destroy, rebuilt stronger than ever before. And they will have no choice but to acknowledge your power, your strength, and your resilience. They will realize that they never had the power to break you, because the only person who could break you was yourself, and you chose never to break. You chose to rise, to endure, and to become the version of yourself that was always meant to be. They thought they had you figured out. They thought they knew how to break you. But the truth is, they never understood who you were. They never understood the quiet power that you carried inside you. And now, as you rise and show them who you've become, they will understand. They will understand that they could never break you. They will understand that they were never in control. And they will understand that the person they tried to tear down was always the one who would rise the highest. And when that moment comes, when you rise to show them your power, your resilience, and your strength, you won't have to say a word. Your actions will speak louder than anything you could ever say. You will show them that every insult, every disrespect, every jab they threw at you was not a sign of your weakness. It was a sign of their own. And you will walk away stronger than ever, knowing that you are the one who controls your destiny and no one else. You've been through the storm. You've endured the disrespect. You've silently counted every jab, every insult, every attempt to bring you down. And now the time has come for you to rise. Show the world who you are, who you've become, and who you always were. They thought they could break you, but in reality, they only made you stronger. Now, the power is yours. You are unstoppable. You are unshakable. And you are ready to show them, once and for all, that no amount of disrespect can ever take away your worth. Rise, stand tall, and let them see your strength.